All right, what's up traders? So welcome to another daily market update. Today's going to be a little longer. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, which actually is looking quite bullish now. It just now looks like it's reclaimed the 21 EMA and the daily, so we're going to talk about that. We have a couple of interesting altcoins I want to go through, and we're going to take a look at the Forex market. So let's jump right into the charts and take a look. Alright, so welcome to another market update. I think this is the 8th episode of this daily market update. So I'm going to do these daily market updates every day. So if you want more content like this, and if you want the daily updates to get even better, please consider subscribing to my channel. I know that most of you, like 50% of you, I can actually see that in my analysis, that around 50% of you guys who are watching these market updates are not subscribed to my channel. And I would like to ask you guys, if you do want to support this channel, the subscribing is really the bread and butter of this channel, and that's what's going to keep me going. And the more subscribers I get, the more interest there is in the channel and these markets update, the more I will, more energy I will put into this. But enough of that. Bitcoin is moving very, very nicely right now. So let's take a look at the daily. We are seeing a pretty nice bounce off the daily range EQ right here. Let's put on the moving averages here to see what's happening. So we're right now trading right above the daily 21 EMA. So we might get a reclaim of the daily 21 EMA here. And I mean, yeah, sure, it's looking quite good, right? We're getting the bounce here off the range EQ. We are above the 21 EMA and a daily, but we were above the daily 21 EMA and a daily here too, but we got a fake out, right? Fake out means that one candle closes above, the next one closes above. A classical fake out here. Can very much likely see this same scenario happening here too. So that's why I want to wait for an actual daily open and close above the 21 EMA and daily to confirm that reclaimed. Looking at this 4-hour range right here, this is the 4-hour range, the smaller range inside this bigger range, right? So daily range, this is the 4-hour range. As you can see in here now, we have reclaimed range EQ of this range right here on the 4-hour. Let's add the moving averages here on the daily, and I'm going to adjust the daily 21 EMA right there. So we're above the low time frame range on the 4-hour and also above the 21 EMA daily. So it's looking quite likely that we might actually test range high here for a move up towards 9.550 up towards 9.570, but that's really going to be an important resistance. And also, if you look at this chart right here, this daily, you can put a horizontal right here, and you can kind of see how this level becomes important. So this level right here around 9525 on Binance, 9525 on Binance. It's going to be, where is it on Bitstamp? So it's at around 9530 on Bitstamp, and it kind of lines up. It's only $5 difference, right? And it kind of lines up with the range high area right here. So it's kind of it all lines up with this low time frame range. So I really do think that, I mean, sure, we can get a daily close above 21 EMA daily, but really this is the area that we really need to take out. So I really think that resistance on the way up is much stronger than the actual support on the way down. So as long as we do not get a daily opening close above the 21 EMA daily, and we still have the $9525 resistance right above here. So I mean, we can reclaim the 21 EMA daily, but the fact that the 21 EMA daily has now moved down and is quite significantly lower than these highs right here, that's definitely going to add some confidence to this area as resistance, right? So I'm very hesitant on Bitcoin to the upside right now, but looking on the daily, for example, here, sure, this nice is this nice. This move here is quite nice, right? We had reclaimed this range EQ. The next move could quite possibly be a range high move, right? But I do think that this area up here around 9,560 is going to act as strong resistance, right? If you add a level or zone here, you can kind of see how this whole area between this low time frame range EQ and daily 21 EMA becomes quite important as a resistance area. So I'm still not ready to become a bull on Bitcoin, especially not on the higher time frames. As long as we hold range EQ in a daily, it's looking all right for a move higher. And really, I think the level I'm looking at right now that needs to be reclaimed is on Binance. It's 9,525, and on Bitstamp it's around 9,530. It's this daily wing high here, right? And that's really the level that needs to get reclaimed. And sure, Bitcoin is moving quite nicely today, but you can't really, this is a move that's definitely normal in proportion to the other up moves we had inside this range. So I wouldn't really get bullish on just this move, but I do have to agree with the bulls here that this reclaim of the low time frame range EQ is looking quite good, right? So we're most likely going to take out range high here, and if we reclaim range high, we got clear passage up to 10k area. We get rejected up range high. I do still think that, well, obviously this range is in play, but I do think we are going to get some range low action of this higher time frame range, because it's looks like the daily uptrend is losing momentum. The weekly downtrend, the weekly is down. Where did the weekly close? It's very, very ugly close for the weekly. Not very bullish at all. So you gotta trade what you see, right? If you're a scalper, you might have a scalping opportunity coming up here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin USDT on Binance. What do we see here? Well, I mean, this level right here, I'm not sure it's just so sharp inside this range, and honestly, I need to see a breakout or a breakdown before I actually take a trade on this one. Anything else is just way too risky for me. So I'm gonna stay on the sideline. I'm gonna observe Bitcoin. I'm not gonna take a trade right now. We're just moving up and down inside this low time frame range. So it's not really very interesting right now for me to trade Bitcoin at its current price. I'm not gonna try to chase the setups. I mean, I'm trading so many markets, there's always going to be an opportunity around the corner, so I don't have to force myself into a trade that's not obvious. Now, let's take a look at BTC dominance. And also, I want to take a quick second to just talk about and give a huge shout out to Prime XBT that's sponsoring the channel. So Prime XBT is my main exchange where I trade BTC USD, and all my Forex positions are made on Prime XBT, including gold, silver, oil, you know, the S&p500 and all that legacy market stuff. So definitely check it out. You have the link in the description below. You can use my promo code. So if you did, the promo code will give you a 50%, or is it even a double? I think it's a double in your actual deposit. You know what? Let me see. So they're gonna give you 50% bonus on your deposit. If you deposit Bitcoin into your Prime XBT account using my promo code LIBS42, they will add 50% of your deposit. Check it out, guys. It's definitely a very good exchange. All right, so we're gonna take a look at BTC dominance right here. We are seeing, well, nothing's really changed on the BTC dominance. It's ranging, and that's kind of, you know, it's quite evident in the altcoin market too. It's not really happening a lot across the altcoin market. We are seeing a couple of pumps and dumps all over the place, but that's just business as usual, right? We did get rejected off this horizontal right here, so I would say that I'm definitely, I guess I'm neutral on the BTC dominance right now, but it's really gearing towards the bear side right now because of the fact that we haven't reclaimed this level on a daily. If we reclaim this level on a daily, I'm definitely going to be bullish on the BTC dominance and bearish on all coins, definitely, basically. So what we need to see right here for all coins to perform well is we need to see this 4-hour uptrend to break to the downside, right? So we need to see this area here break to form a bearish market structure on the 4-hour again, and that's probably going to mean that the daily bearish market structure are going to resume. So this level breaks to the downside like this, we have a continuation of the daily downtrend, and also are probably going to continue to perform very well that we have seen in this range, right? The problem right now though, it's looking like Bitcoin really wants to do something right here, and if it breaks out, the BTC dominance is going to rise. If it breaks down, the BTC dominance is also most probably going to rise, and that's going to cause a lot of alts to feel a lot of pain, and they're probably gonna be hurting a lot, right? So it's a very tricky situation right now in crypto. Trading Bitcoin in an uptrend is obviously not very hard. Trading Bitcoin in these types of ranges are harder, right? Like we're doing up here in this area right here. Trading this range has been manageable, but definitely there's been a lot of people getting stopped out here on these wicks. And if you zoom in here, you will see that we're now ranging inside this lower range, and there's a lot of shops going on here, right? Just a lot of sharper price action, taking out a lot of stops both ways. It's this range right here is made to kill traders who's trying to force a trade, right? So right now Bitcoin is I'm being cautious. All right, so let's go through the list of all coins. We have ALGO BTC, always ALGO BTC. I like this one. So we haven't really reclaimed this level right now. We're seeing equal highs and higher lows, so it's looking quite good, and it really feels like we are going to break out here any moment. BAT BTC, we're finally getting what we've been talking about all through last week. So we finally had the daily open and close above the 200 simple moving average on the daily, confluent with the 200 EMA, and we also now see the daily 21 EMA about to cross. It's already crossed the 200 simple to the upside, but it's about to cross the 200 EMA to the upside. So I'm really liking BAT, and looking at this weekly range right here, I do think that BAT is really ready for a quite big move. I mean, investing in altcoins in the long run is very, very risky. Taking a long-term trade on alts are very risky, so you need to do it with a small position, risk accordingly, and really try to manage your risk and have a plan. Very important to have a plan. You don't want to get stuck with a bag of BAT when it goes all the way down to all-time low, right? So let's see if we can find an actual setup on BAT here. So like I said, I wanted to see a daily opening close above the 200 simple on the daily. Now, do we have any interesting levels here for a possible retest? A retrace down to retest the breakout area. Well, looking at this level down here, it's quite interesting, right? We have the 200 simple, right? It's quite obvious that 200 simple was acting as resistance right at a resistance area, right? And that kind of looks like this, right? So we have the high of that wick there, and we're gonna use that low, something like this, right? this is obviously a important resistance area that we broke out of, and that gave us this nice move just now recently. So this level above here is also very interesting, right? I think if you're looking for an entry on BAT, I would say that the retest of the 200 simple complement with the 21 EMA, the 55 EMA, and the 200 EMA, this area right here is a good level for a possible retest. The problem with this area is this area. This high right here is also a very important resistance support area, previous resistance. And there's just a lot of different very strong levels in between the 200 simple and the 2499 area. If you're looking for a higher time frame trade on BAT BTC, I do think that entering inside this area might be, well, it's not a terrible idea, right? Let's add the Fibonacci tool here to get some entries, get an average entry. So I use this one to check the levels and kind of get an average entries. Let's see, have here something like that, right? So that's going to be your entry zone. It's quite wide. It's about 6%, so it's not really that wide considering this should be a high time frame trade, right? So you want to enter inside this area, right? That's looking quite good, right? On the daily, we want to find a proper stop loss level on the daily here. And I'm thinking somewhere all the way down here. And on this move, you should probably take some profits up in this area. So even if you're watching this as a, I mean, this is a 15% stop loss, so it's a very wide stop loss. But the fact that I'm using a very wide stop loss is based on the price action on this one. We have a very sharpy price action inside this range, and this is supposed to be a longer term trade, right? So you really need to have a wider stop when you're looking at longer term trade, right? So then another option here would be to actually wait for, and this is how you can have a tighter stop on this one. You can of course also have your stop below this area, right? And you also have this wick here using this area support. So I mean, if we're bullish, we probably shouldn't come down and trade inside this area. So the stop could be much tighter, like 9% up here. That makes sense, right? But your last entry, I mean, the best possible entry on this one is going to be all the way down here, right? So your last entry is quite close to the stop loss, and you don't really want that. You want to have a wider stop, so you might place your stop down here. And what you can do instead too is wait for an actual bounce. So maybe you wait for this move, right? And you see this and continuation upwards. And this is where you want to enter, and you can have your stop down here if that happens. But I do think that, I mean, I do like this setup, honestly. I do really like it. And we have the daily open and close above. Coming down here would be a rounded retest of the daily 21 EMA. I mean the daily 200 simple and the daily 200 EMA. So yeah, I like this one. First take profit would be, actually you could probably use these highs. This area right here is going to be your first trouble area, right? So that's going to be your first take profit area. Your second take profit area can be all the way up here at the high of this range. So for the 40% move, take profit all the way up here. We then want to take some profits up at range EQ for a 80% move. And honestly, I would like to keep my position open with about 20% open or 10% open or whatever as a moon bag in case you actually hit range high for a 172% move. So that's what I'm watching on BAT. Really like that one. KMD BTC. So like I said, this is going to be a little longer. I get a lot of stuff to take a look at. So KMD BTC, it's actually looking quite good here. And if we reclaim this area, I've got alerts set here to possibly take a trade on this one. Troy BTC is seeing a retrace after hitting take profit 1, but it's looking on the daily, the trend is still quite good. It's still up. There's no change in behavior on this uptrend. So I do think that if we can just push above here and reclaim 57 sats, I do think that this will run all the way up into the short RLC area around 60 sats. One BTC, we have actually now gotten the daily open and close above this level that we have been watching. This one honestly is a bit tricky because I really do think that the level here with the 200 EMA, the fact that we are getting rejected by the 200 EMA on the daily, and the 200 EMA on the daily is actually also confluent with this support right here, I do think that that's the area that needs to be reclaimed. So I'm going to wait for an actual bounce down here and wait for a reclaim of 200 EMA. So it doesn't really feel safe to be buying a retest of the area right below the 200 simple and the 200 EMA. So I gotta take that into consideration and buy the retest of the 200 EMA. Stop loss on this one is going to be dependent on where the next swing low is going to be created on the 4-hour time frame. RVN BTC, we are now seeing an actual retrace all the way down into our entry point here. So this is looking quite good. Maybe you're filled on this one, I don't know. If you follow this one, I think this is a quite good trade. And if you're not in this trade, I would recommend waiting for this RLC to get cleared. And I would wait for a move out of the RLC, maybe long the 618 with a stop below the 786 on the RLC. And speaking about RLC, I've started finishing up the RLC recording, and it will be available later tonight for you guys. That's RVN. I do really like this one. Problem is that Bitcoin really looks like it wants to run any moment. So trading alt versus Bitcoin, very, very risky. Do it with tight stop loss or small positions. Just manage your positions, right? Do not hold something for the long run in a position like this. BAT might be the exception, but really you gotta manage your risk. You can't be in too many alts at the same time when the market looks like it's looking right now. ADX BTC, we're getting a very nice daily open and close above this red box resistance right here. So I'm gonna watch for a possible bounce inside this red box resistance. That it should be green now because it's actually support, right? So I'm liking ADX right here. Gonna wait for a bullish market structure inside this one, a tap of this support zone, and a move higher. That's going to be a very nice trade, I think. So this is also has a lot of upside potential. REQ BTC. If you guys remember this, I've talked about this for quite some time. We were looking for a bounce inside RLC. We got a bounce inside RLC. We moved out of the RLC, and we are now seeing a retest of the 618 Fibonacci. This would have been a great entry. I know some of you actually took this trade and entered on the retest of the 618, so good job to you guys. And I've also seen a lot of people actually buying the RLC because we were seeing bullish bullish divergence on the RSI and MACD. I think down in this range we were creating well, not obvious, but we were actually creating higher lows on the RSI and MACD while creating lower lows on the price. So bullish market structure on the hourly inside the RLC, beautiful. STRAT BTC, this is another one we entered a couple of weeks ago, I think. Let's remove this setup right here. The STRAT BTC is one that I've watched for quite some time in these daily market updates too. It now looks like we are about to break above this red box resistance right here. As you can see, a couple of days ago we did get rejected up here. I'm looking for a daily open and close along the possible retest retest of that area with a stop loss below that area. The upside on this one is, I mean, yeah, pretty good. Looking very good for a big move here. So waiting for confirmation on this one. Red BTC. Bullish market side. Bullish market structure on the other side of this trend line, looking very good for bread. We did have a daily open and close above a clean one yesterday, so this is looking quite good. Where can we get in on a retrace on this one? I'm thinking we should have the stop loss should be below the last swing low on the 4-hour. And I'm watching either this level or this level. If this thing is bullish, I mean, average entry probably be in this area. I think would be the best entry. And if you layer your bids in, that should probably be your average entry. Your take profit on this one. So, I mean, this is looking quite good. I could see this definitely run all the way up to this area right here for a good 33% move, right? Where would you put your stop loss on this one? Let's see. Well, honestly, this one is a bit tricky because I would love to have my stop below here, but that's just, I think it's just way too wide. If you zoom in, yes, you could definitely have it here too, right? Below these swing lows, right? Because if this thing is bullish, we shouldn't really go lower. We shouldn't really go lower below here, right? Let's go down into the hourly here. Honestly, this is a bit risky, especially with the current market structure of Bitcoin. So I'm gonna wait for. I'm gonna actually wait for a bounce down in this area. I think that's the best move right now, because if Bitcoin moves, this is gonna dump right through and probably continue, you know, form a bearish market structure. So gotta be careful with bread, honestly. NULS BTC. Yeah, so this one worked out perfectly. Bounced at the 200 EMA and daily, very nice. So I want to show you this, guys. This is a very good example of how you can trade with the 200 daily moving average and the 200 EMA on the daily. So here we have a daily open and close above the 200 simple on the daily. We had a perfect retest of that area for a move higher. We also had a daily open and close above the 200 EMA here. Came down and retested that area for, you know, this move up. So very nice trade on NULS BTC. AMB BTC. So I've showed you guys this one in my last market update, and we're now coming down to retest this area, but adding the moving averages right here, and this is also something I like to show you guys. The fact that we are getting reacted, we have no daily close above the 200 simple, so we're really getting strong reaction after 200 simple. So I'm going to be really careful with this one. I need to see a daily open and close above the 200 simple, and that's probably going to happen if we bounce off, you know, this area. So the setup would actually be quite nice, right? We could have an entry right here and stop loss depending on where the swing low. I mean, the stop loss could be all the way down here for a move up into this region, right? So yeah, that could be a very nice move. We will take a closer look at that one in tomorrow market update, see if we actually have a bounce down here. So at least a daily close above 200 simple is what I'm looking on this one. Mithril BTC, same with this one. 200 simple is acting as resistance here. We have the 200 simple in a resistance area, so that's definitely adding some confidence to that resistance area, and that's going to be that one. So I'll wait for daily open and close above this level for at least a move up to the 200 EMA, which is a good 40% move. So that's what I'm watching on this one. PERL BTC. What are we seeing in PERL BTC? Well, pretty much the same stuff that we're seeing on Mithril. So we're going to add a resistance area right here. Put that high there and these lows right here. So what do we see? We have a resistance area confluent with the 200 simple and a 200 EMA. We break out of this area and we should see a pretty nice move, you know, for about 30% up to this area up above here at around 337. So I mean, there's a lot of interesting altcoins right now, but it's the fact that Bitcoin is looking like it's looking and there's just a big move waiting to happen for Bitcoin. You got to be very careful and very picky when it comes to alts. So you're really going to wait for high time frame confirmation, right? So gas BTC, what I wanted to show you guys here is another example of where the 200 simple is confluent with a resistance area. We had the daily open and close above here, came down for the first rounded retest. Well, not really perfect rounded, but still the first retest. It took off to the next resistance above. Same thing happened here, daily open and close, first retest of the 200 EMA on a daily. So that's a pretty good strategy currently with alts. Wait for the 200 simple or the 200 EMA to break to the upside along the first retest, especially if it's confluent with a support and or resistance area, right? RLC. Look on a weekly here. Strong resistance right now. We're inside this resistance area on the daily. We were looking for a retest of the 200 EMA. We never got that. Instead, we had a very nice retest of the 200 EMA. But no retest of the 200 simple like we wanted. This one just continued higher. Let's see if we can get a daily open and close above this red box resistance. A clean daily open and close. And what I mean by that is a daily open and close above without no wicks touching the level below. REN BTC. Now this is looking quite good also. We have a very important resistance area right here for REN. On Binance, it's actually at all-time high. I'm not sure if it's on, was it on Bitrex, on Huobi, BTC. So, fuck is this? So this is actually the 200 simple. That's, yeah, that's weird. Fuck is that? Very weird. But Hit BTC is a very weird exchange. REN BTC, this is, I mean, yeah, this is looking very, very nice. If this daily closes above this red box resistance, might want to long this. This is looking very good. So we're gonna wait till tomorrow, see if the daily close happens above this red box resistance. Rep BTC, looking quite good here. We are seeing this support area get reclaimed. I want to see an actual bounce down here, right? So we're holding this area nicely as support, right? But I would like to see a, you know, really a confirmed bounce here. So I would like to see some bullish market structure on the lower time frames here, like the hourly. So maybe something like this, right? Got this resistance area here. And move up for a breakout, retest, go, right? Your stops would be below this area. That's what I'm looking on Rep BTC. We got SNX, Synthetics Networks token. I don't know what. And it's on Qcoin. And this is another pretty interesting, just an example of what I'm looking for when I'm trying to find confluence between horizontal levels and moving averages. Here you have a quite obvious, you know, resistance area here. Broke above, first retest, rounded retest on the daily. Pretty much, you know, looking very nice on the 4 hour here. First retest of the 200 simple, strong move from that bounce. That's what I'm looking for when looking on altcoins to find confluence with horizontal levels and support and resistance. I mean, support and resistance and moving averages. ADA here is looking quite good, honestly. On the daily here, let's moving averages. you can quite see, I mean, you can clearly see how this is a very important area for ADA. And honestly, kind of looks like we want to have a move up here. But the area that needs to get reclaimed now is 907. So let's see, that's a 5% move, right? So reclaim 907, and I do think that, I mean, we've broken about out of this very, very, you know, long-term range. We bounced off it here with this crazy wick, and we are now moving higher. If we can reclaim this area, right, that would mean we are quite possibly going to see a high time frame reversal for ADS. So very important that we reclaim the 907 sats with a daily open and close above. All right, so that's all the altcoins I wanted to talk to you guys about and show you. Now let's talk about the legacy markets. So we're gonna take a look at USDJPY. So last week, I talked about this potential short right here, and honestly, I'm still interested in this one if we can get a proper breakdown of this one. And I'm going to adjust the stop loss level in, you know, if we get a breakdown, and I'm gonna put it at you know, above the thrust candle or the last swing high on the 4 hours. So I'm liking this one. I'm still interested in this one, and I got some alert to set for it to break down. EURUSD, this is a short that I'm in, and honestly, I think this is looking quite good still. We had this, you know, the head and shoulders pattern right here, something like this, right? That we probably need to adjust this one. So something like this, right? There's your head and shoulders pattern. So we broke down, came up for a bearish retest. I've got my average entry around this area, and we're now seeing a move higher for EURUSD, but it's holding the 4 hour downtrend, and as long as we don't reclaim 1.1238, I think this should be good for a continuation to the downside. EURUGBP, quite like this one. We have a breakout out of this range, and I would like to long the retest of this area. Problem here is that we had a perfect retest right here, and I really do wish I entered on this one, but I do think that we are very likely to see another move into this area down below here, and I would like to, because of the fact that we already had the first retest on the 4 hour, I'm gonna be very cautious and take it easy with this one, and wait for an actual bounce here. I would probably wait for and look for a bullish divergence on the hourly if we stop moving down here. But this is something that I'm watching, right? Euro Swiss, this is now inside the long RLC, and we're actually getting a bullish divergence here on the 4 hour from both the MACD and the RSI. So this is looking quite good actually for a move higher. I would like to see this reclaim the 618 up here to go long on this one, and you could have a very tight stop on this one actually. So you could actually, you know, trade it like this and have you stop all the way down here, and you know, your profit taking on this one could be, you know, all the way up inside here. So well, obviously not a very tight stop, but still I do like this one. And honestly, if this is a high time frame reversal, I'm gonna be looking at you know, this area up here for take profit. So this one is definitely something I'm watching. GBPUSD, I was looking at this short right here when we broke down. I never had that retest, and I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about this setup right now, but I'm definitely watching this one for a reaction above here around the 618 of this short RLC right here. I think that looks like a potential nice rounded retest on the daily. So we have this breakdown inside the short RLC, and a lot of the times you will see a retest of the 618. So I'm waiting for that, and I'm watching for a possible move to the downside if that happens. I'm going to wait for the actual reaction and short a reaction. GBPJPY, this is what I'm looking on this one. Very clean breakdown and clean, nice level here. If we come up and test this area, I want to go short with a very tight stop above the thrust candle. We have EURCAD. What am I seeing on EURCAD? Let's see. Let's try to. All right. So we have lost range EQ here, right? Look in the 4 hour. Not really super clean, to be honest. But I'm looking for an actual reaction up here for a move down to range low down here. So I've got some alerts set here, and I'm going to wait for a reaction up here. So if we get a move like this, right, my setup will look like this. That's what I'm looking at on EURCAD. We also have Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Got a pretty clean breakout here. I really like this level right here. So I've got some alerts set down here. And if we come down there, I'm going to most probably enter a couple of long orders down here with a stop below this area below, which is the yeah, not sure about the stop, honestly. I've got this one on the chart just as a reminder, right? But I'm definitely going to watch this one closely when we approach this support area. So what else do we have? We have gold. Now gold is seeing a breakout today of these highs right here, looking very good. So I mean, obviously this would have been a great entry after a 4 hour open and close above this area. And it pretty much perfectly touched the area that we got marked out here. But what I'm looking for on this one is, let's see, I want to wait for this daily candle to close above. That means we have a daily open and close above, right? And looking at this area right here, we yeah, there's definitely a trade forming on gold, but it's not really obvious right now. So I'm gonna wait for the daily close to actually close above this area. This could just be a fake out, so we gotta be careful, right? If this next candle closes below here, this could definitely be a fake out because it's not a clean open and close above. Got silver. So I'm watching this diagonal trend line on silver right here. Very interesting. We got a lot of touches of this level. I'm looking for a possible breakout of this area, and it's also, you know, confluent with a resistance area right here. If we can add that on the chart. So like this area. Do we have any moving averages here? Of everyone here. That's what I'm watching. I want to see a break of this trend line. I want to see a breakout of this resistance area. I want to see a open and close above the long the first retest. I could probably on this one, I would be happy with a 4 hour open and close above a day instead of a daily open and close above. So the setup, let's see, the setup would look something like this. Stop loss below this area. Take profit on this one would most likely be up inside this area above here. That's something I'm watching on silver. Obviously the setup is going to be dependent on how price action actually looks when it breaks out. S&p 500 is having a pretty good move to the upside today. And if you look at S&p 500 and you look at Bitcoin. Usually when the S&p 500 has a move to the upside, Bitcoin will also have its move to the upside, right? So yeah, this is not looking extremely bullish, right? And if you look at this red box resistance above, that's really an area that you need to reclaim for this one to be. I mean, obviously the daily trend here is up, but as long as you can't reclaim this area above here with at least a daily open and close above, this is I think we have more downside coming on the S&p 500, and that's also why I think we have more downside on the on BTC. Last one we are going to take a look at today is oil, and I'm in this trade on oil. It's hovering right above my entry. We had a nice tap of this support zone below here. It's yeah, pretty much hovering around my entry. The idea here is to just long this one all the way up to this. If you guys remember this crazy drop from oil right here, I'm waiting for. I want to get in on this breakout here, this move, for a move up to the breakout down area up here. Alright guys, so that's it. This, like I said, a longer episode today. Hopefully I've covered some interesting setups for you guys, and that's basically what I'm looking at in the market. Tomorrow's market updates is going to be shorter. Tomorrow I'm only going to cover only the most important charts of all the ones I've covered today. So what I want to do is I want to have one episode every week where I take, it's going to be a longer episode where I take a look at the whole market with everything I'm looking at and just everything that is of a little bit of interest. And the next days I'm going to dive deeper into the list and only cover the stuff that I'm getting alerts on, and the ones that are ready to enter and that kind of stuff, right? And yeah, once again, if you like my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's really going to help me a lot. And I want to say a huge thank you to all of you guys who's been following me and been supporting me and giving me all kinds of feedback and everything. So I really do appreciate that, and you guys are awesome, and thank you for everything. Alright guys, so that's it. I'm gonna upload this video and tweet it out and everything. So take care. See you guys in my next video.